So, okay, now we're at chunk 3 of the text. Okay, so let's read to find out what it's going to be about. Okay, they had these turn. The children are back. Okay, so the children are back. Alright, so maybe we just put it down, the children. Okay, first. Alright, so they're back just in time for supper. Children holding hands. Okay, so they're close to each other, brother and sister. Right, so it's all these little things, okay, that you need to look out for. Pay attention to the details. Close relationship with siblings. Alright, come and tell us about it. This one, brother, sister blinked at him and then at each other. Nursery? What do you think they're doing here? Interesting, right? So it cannot be that they don't know about the nursery. It cannot be that they are puzzled, right, about the nursery, or they don't know such a thing exists. So what can we say? We can say that they are feigning ignorance, right? They're pretending not to know what the parents want to talk to them about. Pretending not to know what parents want from them, right? Because when the father talks about the nursery, and the nursery has been stuck at the Veldt for like many days, surely the children would know that when the parents want to talk to them about the nursery, it would be about why the nursery is stuck at the Veldt instead of changing into other setting. Okay, so the father now wants to know all about Africa and everything. He said with false joviality. Why do you think he says with false joviality? Joviality means that, you know, he is jovial. Jovial meaning jolly, cheerful, right? So why false joviality? Okay, we can say that the father here, he is pretending, again, pretending to be interested, pretending that it is okay, you know, to be jolly, to be cheerful, as though like, oh yeah, there's nothing wrong, you know, just tell me more about Africa. Okay, so over here, Peter, I don't understand. Okay, so he is again feigning ignorance, right? Trying to pretend he doesn't know what the father is talking about. Okay, so father gave some details, all right? And then Peter said simply, there is no Africa in the nursery. It's an outright lie, right? Because the story has just spent, like, you know, the first two chunk, the writer has just spent the first two chunk describing in detail what the nursery is like as the African Veldt. Okay, so over here, oh come on now, Peter, we know better, because the parents have just witnessed it, right? Okay, parents are calling his bluff, right? They just witnessed the Veldt. I don't remember any Africa. He turned to Wendy, do you? So now you can see brother and sister earlier on, right? We said that they share a close relationship. They came in holding hands. So here is further proof, right? So siblings back each other up in their lie to their parents, right? She doesn't give him away, okay? So she affirms what he's saying. She agrees with him. Okay, run, see, and come tell. So she obeyed. Wendy, come back here. So the girl goes, but she was gone. Okay, another description here, alright, about the features of the house. The house lights followed her like a flock of flies. Okay, over here, George said, too late. He realized he had forgotten to lock the nursery door. So why is this going to be a problem? Interesting, right? It's probably because maybe if he leaves the door open, Wendy is going to do something to the room. Okay, let's see if we are right, huh? Okay, Wendy will look and come tell us, said Peter. She doesn't have to tell me. I've seen it. I'm sure you're mistaken, Father. I'm not, Peter. Come along now. Okay. So over here, again, he's lying blatantly to Father. Okay. Okay, what else can we say here? Wendy is back. Alright, it's not Africa, she said. We'll see about this. And then they walked down the hall, right? There was a lovely forest. It is true, it is not Africa anymore. Alright, so now there's a lovely forest. Okay, mountains, you know, Rima, if you, let's see, a Rima is actually, if you Google, right, you will know that it's a book, The Jungle Girl, from a novel, Green Mansions. So, right, the Veldt has disappeared. Now in its place is a forest. There are colorful flights of butterflies, right, like animated bouquet, so you know, as though the flowers can move. Okay, the African Veltland was gone. Interesting. Okay, let's see. Okay, the lions were gone. Alright, so lions were also gone. So now there's only Rima singing a song so beautiful it brought tears to your eyes. So what's the contrast between the two scenes? Previously, right, Veldt was full of aggression, death, and violence. Right, but over here, Rima, it's a lovely, soothing scenery, soothing place, right? So everything is beautiful, everything is light, everything is calm and serene. Okay, very different from the Veldt, huh? So what has happened? He looked in at the changed scene. What do you think happened? Because the room changes based on your thoughts, right? And Wendy got in there first before Father and Peter. So a likely conclusion is that Wendy changed the room before the parents came. Okay. Alright. So that's a logical deduction. Wendy changed the landscape. Now why do you think she did it? Why do you think she changed the room? So that she corroborates, right? Corroborates with Peter's story. Corroborate means to agree with. Alright. So that, you know, earlier on, Peter told the father, right, that there's no African Veldt. So Wendy went ahead to change the room to something else. So that when they got there, it is true. There is no African Veldt. It is something else. So again, you can see how the siblings, you know, back each other up. Right? So they cover each other. Alright? Okay, then they went back and the father ordered them. Then he picked up something that lay in the corner where the lions had been, walked back to the wife. Okay, an old wallet of mine. Okay, what is on the wallet? What is interesting about the wallet? Well, there's the smell of hot grass on it. Okay, you got the smell of a lion. So again, you've got smell and now you've got touch. Okay, touch, right, because drops of saliva and chewed. And touch here going on there. Then there were blood smears. Okay, closed the nursery and locked it tight. Okay, in the middle of the night he was awake and so was the wife. Okay, do you think when he changed it, so they couldn't get to sleep, something's bothering them. In the middle of the night they are awake. Something is bothering them. Okay, they are uneasy, cannot get to sleep. Okay, so they had a conversation, made it from a Veldt into a forest and put Rima there instead of lion. So we were right to guess that, right? Okay, so he doesn't know. Then they talk about the wallet. How did your wallet get there? It's interesting, right? Okay, so there's suspense here. You know, there's some kind of maybe it's going to tell us something else later, so maybe we'll read more to find out. Okay, I don't know, except that I'm beginning to be sorry. Okay, so change in attitude, beginning to be sorry that we bought the house for the children. Okay, where are we? Let's see. I'm sorry that we bought the house. Okay, for the children. And he said that, you know, if the children are neurotic at all, a room like that is not going to help them. Okay, what's neurotic? Neurotic, I go and check it out and tell me if I'm right or wrong. But it's got something to do with being overly anxious about something. It's got something to do with the mind, alright? Overly anxious. Okay? So, it's supposed to help them work off their neurosis in a healthful way. So, that was the original intent or original purpose of the house. Original purpose of house. Help to relieve their neurosis. Neurosis can be a kind of mental stress, okay? Yeah, because you're overly worried about something. Okay, and then now he says, I'm beginning to wonder. Okay, we've given the children everything they ever wanted. So they are quite indulgent parents, right? Indulgent means to pamper your children. Is this our reward? Secrecy? Disobedience? Okay, so over here, important point, alert. Please take note. Okay, so they are indulgent parents, right? So they gave children everything they want. But interesting, this everything they want, right? What kind of things are these? These are material things, isn't it? Material things and comfort, right? They didn't give their children their time. They didn't take care of their children, of their needs, of their mental needs, their psychological needs, right? They left that to the room to do it. So over here, secrecy, disobedience, this is the children's attitude towards them. Okay, so the children are secretive. They are disobedient. Alright, okay. Well, they said, okay, who was it said children are carpets, they should be stepped on occasionally. We've never lifted a hand. Maybe that's the problem, isn't it? Yeah, they do not discipline their children. We've never lifted a hand. So now they're insufferable. Yeah, so they're intolerable. The children, they're getting out of hand. They come and go when they like. Alright, they treat us as if we were offspring. Offspring means that they treat the parents as though the parents were the children. They're spoiled and we're spoiled. Okay, actually this is very important. Okay, all these parts here, make sure you note it down. So this admission, isn't it? Admission that technology, or admission that they have not been doing their jobs as parents, right? We've never lifted a hand here. Just now I said that it means that they are not disciplining their children. Okay, so the children now are spoiled. When he says we're spoiled, what do you think he's referring to over here? They're spoiled and we're spoiled. Actually, he's referring to like, spoiled by what? Spoiled by, the children are spoiled by them, right? Children spoiled by parents, and the parents are spoiled by technology, right? Because earlier on, remember, the parents couldn't do anything, right? All the household chores and all that left to the technology. Okay, so we're spoiled. They're spoiled by the conveniences that the technology offers, so much so that they become so reliant on it, they don't do anything for themselves, so they become incompetent. Alright, incompetent parents and human beings. Okay, they've been acting funny ever since you forbade them to take the rocket to New York. So they're a rich family, right? You know, all this luxury, all these luxury things, right? I mean, how many of us can say that we want to take the rocket to New York, in our leisure time? Okay. So they've been decidedly cool towards us ever since. So more evidence, right, of the children being spoiled. So evidence of children being spoiled. Over here, okay, we're talking about parent-children relationship, right? Okay, we talk about how the children react towards their parents whenever they are not allowed to do certain things. Okay, I'll have David McLean come in, but it's not Africa now, it's Green Mansions. Okay, I have a feeling it'll be Africa again. Then they heard the screams, two people screaming from downstairs, and a roar of lions. Who do you think the two people are? And then they say, right, Wendy and people aren't in their rooms. So I guess fair enough for us to say that the two people here are the children. Interesting, right? So just earlier on, they said that one of them said that it's Rima, it's Green Mansion's country. Another said it'll be Africa. And then the very next minute, they are proven right. Okay, so we can say that the children have gone into the nursery. Right? They've probably gone in, right? Because you hear the lions, you hear screaming. The children are probably the ones screaming. Okay, they're in the nursery, and the nursery is the Veldt. Okay. Okay, so we're right. Broken into the nursery. Those screams, they sound familiar. Familiar, right? So who else is in the house? Probably Wendy and Peter. Do they? Yes, awfully. Although their beds tried very hard, the two adults couldn't be rocked to sleep for another hour. Beds tried hard. Two adults couldn't be rocked to sleep. Okay, so interesting, right? They hear screams. There's something wrong going on, but instead of investigating, they remained in bed. Why? So they seem to be more concerned about their own anxieties, their own worries, their own unease, than with what is happening to their children, right? I mean, they talk about it. They're clearly concerned about what is happening with their children, but not concerned enough to get out of the bed to investigate the screams. They continue to lie in bed, and they needed to be rocked to sleep. So it tells you something about them as parents, right? Okay, so chunk 3. Okay, if we were to summarize, it would be something like that, right? That the role, we can say it's George and Lydia as parents. Obviously, they are poor role models, right? As parents. Models as parents. Okay, they're not really doing their job as parents. Okay, and we also know something about the children's relationship with their parents. Children's relationship with parents. Okay, keypad is not being very sensitive here. And siblings' relationship with each other. Right, the children are close to each other. Okay, and I think that is about it, right, for this chunk. So later on, okay, we'll read on to find out what happens next.